Hello and welcome back to my channel, where today I'm going to be breaking the rules of my title by giving you my non-spoiler thoughts on Rian Johnson's latest murder mystery, Glass Onion: A Knives Out Mystery. The film is once again written and directed by Johnson and stars Daniel Craig as the famed Southern detective Benoit Blanc, this time exploring the mystery of a group of friends from the past who reunite for a murder mystery party on this Grecian island that consists of Kate Hudson, Catherine Hahn, Edward Norton, Dave Bautista, Madeline Klein, Jessica Henwick, Leslie Odom Jr., and Janelle Monáe. Now, I've been a fan of Rian Johnson's films of late. I love The Last Jedi. It is one of my favorite films of all time, let alone Star Wars films. And I really enjoyed the first Knives Out. As a fan of murder mysteries, I think what he was able to do in that first film is just uproot the conventions and really play with them. And because of that, we got such a fresh retelling of a classic murder mystery that is reverent to the stories of the past, but injecting them with a modern spirit. And I think he has done the same again and delivered a movie as good as the first in Glass Onion. This is a sharply structured mystery that hysterically lampoons the complicity of luxury. I think he's able to take characters whose major fault is their inaction and really show how that is an action of itself, and it's an action of such detriment to not only each other, but to themselves and to the world around them. Throughout the film, we see the security that people of privilege have when they are surrounded by other people of privilege. And what happens when people have to fight against that hive mind, that group that is infallible because they don't want to lose that which they have gained. Johnson's narrative support, once again, of the underdog finds ingenuity in the genre, with the smaller ensemble compared to the first Knives Out benefiting from their spry chemistry. What is one of the most remarkable parts of this film, and that really allows it to soar, is the history that is given to these characters. You really feel that these are longtime friends with a lot of ups and downs in their relationship, and they mine all of this history to give you characters with such weight. These are not, the most dramatic beings. They're very funny. This is a very funny movie, especially in its first half, and it's the history that these characters have with each other that really gives it a substantive weight. Now, it is at times predictable. I will admit that just like the first film, as it is with the second, and this is no spoilers again, I was able to discern who the murderer was by just looking at the poster. But I do think it's a double-edged sword because it's predictable because these stories are so attached to certain themes, and there's only a certain amount of characters that make sense as far as fitting the message that Rian Johnson wants to send. So I admire the fact that he's more thinking about what is this film going to be like on the fifth watch rather than the first watch. Many mysteries just want to surprise you, but once that surprise goes away, what's left? What's the scene work? What are the characters representing? And he understands that the story has to work before the mystery does. Though I do think this does have a couple of twists that I did not see coming, mostly based on the strengths of the performances and the layers that they are able to explore and show as the film progresses. I mean, when the film's at its worst, it's wildly entertaining. And at its best, we're talking about a film with such a perceptive gaze that is able to infuse its drama with comedy and its comedy with weight. Now, this, of course, is paying homage to Death on the Nile, and Then There Were None, classic Agatha Christie stories. And I think I really admired how he was able to pair the structure of Glass Onion with Death on the Nile, because if you've read that book, you got to read like half the story before you get to the murder, which I loved in that book and I love here because you really understand who these people are and why you should care for them when they're thrust into the plot mechanisms of a mystery. The film works best when it's operating as just a dramedy between these characters, divorced from any obligation to plot contrivance, and instead infused with the growing tension of a classic mystery. This idea of fear being around every corner, but it not being the type of fear that's been defined yet. I think Johnson is able to work off of that really strongly, as is the cast. And yes, once the traditional antics do ensue and take priority, the film works off the goodwill of its strongly established core, as well as a surprising multifaceted turn from Janelle Monáe And that's all I'll say. There's a cathartic freedom that resides over Glass Onion that is uncommon in most sequels, where you can sense Johnson's active ability to do whatever he wants and not fall into cliche. So many sequels feel they have to deliver what the first one did and just, twist it up enough that it's not the first one. But with Johnson, he holds such a verve with his genre stories because he finds a quiet confidence to confront the power imbalances commonly found in stories alike to this. And another part of that confidence is that Johnson is telling a story, but he knows that the entertainment of it must come first. You must feel entertained and engrossed in the story, and then later you can reflect on what it's saying. And there's just so much of this movie that I just so enjoyed, and then upon reflection, I came to love the film even more. Overall, the enthusiasm Johnson, Craig, and company have for the exploits of Benoit Blanc is pretty undeniable to resist. So that's my review of Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Let me know, did you see it in theaters? Are you going to catch it on Netflix over the Christmas holiday? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to not miss any new videos from Spoilers Ahead with Anthony Post. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you at the movies.